Hey, today in this lecture we'll study about the series parallel inverter. Series parallel inverter. You know the inverters are the single phase, they are the three phase, there are three phase different type of the operation, 180-degree operation, 120-degree mode operation. So we have discussed the different type of the inverters, the voltage source inverter, the current source inverter. Definitely you will go through the different type of the inverters. Now we are going to the series and parallel inverters. How we can define and how we can classify the series inverter and parallel inverter. It depends upon the type of commutating circuit or commutating element which is connected in series with the load on. It is known as series inverter, and a commutating element is connected in parallel with the load. The parallel the current will be flow, the load and commutating element both carry the two component of the current with the their current are parallelly to each other. Then that kind of the commutating the circuit or the inverter is known as parallel inverter. So we have in this particular lecture we study about series parallel inverters. How they work, what the advantage and disadvantage, what kind of the circuit they have, what kind of the waveform they will be generate, and how can understand what kind of the explanation they require to understand, what the basic behavior, what the basic equation. So all the things we'll discuss in this particular lecture. Definitely you enjoy a lot with me. I am C. Shram Ola, teaching from last 22 years. And now will be 23rd I'll go in the month of June. So having a lot of experience to teach the electrical electronics engineering student and faculty members for the different career advancement and competitive examinations like GATE, IES, PSUs, university examination and all the state level competitive examinations. So definitely enjoy a lot with me to study about the series parallel inverters. So firstly we are taking the series inverter. First we are taking the series inverter. So what the circuit diagram of the series inverter and what the circuit diagram of the parallel inverter. So we are studying on how we can find out the equation of the series parallel inverter. So we are talking about the one by one the things, series parallel inverters, the basic diagram of the series inverter and basic diagram of the parallel inverters. So they say the main thyristor, and this is the inductor, this is a capacitor, and this is a load. So here the inductor and capacitor, they are commutating element. They are known as commutating element, and this is the load. So the commutating element are in series with the circuit. That's why they say the circuit is known as they are in series with. So it's known as. So one cycle, this is the one directional cycle, but in the inverter there are two cycles, one in this directional cycle and the second in the opposite directional current, like the current in this and current like that. So to flow that amount of the current, a parallel thyristor will connect in the circuit like this. So there is a two directional current, one current is like this and other current is like that. So the directly one direction and other direction. So both the direction of the current, in the inverter both directional current are required with the AC current, AC voltage. The output voltage and current across this load should be AC, and these two are the commutating element. These two are the basic element, they are on a commutating element. So how it flow, how it happens. So we'll try to explain the working of this. This is known as basically this is the main thyristor 1 and this is the thyristor 2. And this is the source plus minus. In the inverter there is a DC source, input side the source. Okay, how the circuit works? How this circuit works? That we have to explain in this inverter circuit. That we'll try to. Basically RLC, all the three elements are in a circuit Okay, RLC, three elements are in a circuit. So in a basic series inverter, the circuit having the three components RLC and C having in the initial value of the capacitor, initial voltage across the capacitor is plus and minus like this one, VC0 or V0, VC0, because the V0 we are taking the voltage across this load V0. So at the VC0 is the voltage across the capacitor. And the load is resistive type. Load is the resistance R. Load is the resistance type. And if the load is inductive capacitive, then additional inductive capacitor doesn't required. So it depends upon the designing aspects. What the value of the inductor and the capacitor in a load. So we are minimize the load and inductive requirement in a series one. The commutating element requirement will minimum. Otherwise, it will be maximum. So I will firstly draw the equation, So the voltage across the inductor is L di by dt. This is the voltage drop across the inductor. Voltage drop across the capacitor 1 upon C integration of I dt. And voltage drop across the inductor resistance I into R is equals to the source voltage, that is ES, plus the capacitor voltage. Both the voltage are in the same nature. What are the supporting in the nature initially when this resistor gets switched on. When this resistor gets switched on, turn on, this is the flow of direction of the current. So this is the equation. So this equation can be simplified like Ls Is plus 1 upon S Cs Is Cs Is plus RIS is equal to ES plus VC naught divided by S. So IS we are taking the common factor. So IS is equal to ES. That is generally write down the VS also. This the ES can be write down VS also. So VS plus V 0C divided by S LS plus R plus 1 upon CS. So L we are taking the common factor. So L we are taking here L. So divided by L and divided by L. And here S we are taking the inside. So this is the S square. This is S and this is S get cancel out. So it becomes S square plus L upon R S plus 1 upon LC. So this is the second order equation. When the second order equation is there, it may be the underdamped circuit, it may be the overdamped circuit, it may be the critical damped circuit. So for the healthy operation of series inverter, circuit should be underdamped circuit and damping factor should be near about 0.7. The damping factor we'll consider also, we'll find out finally also. How we will find out the value of that. So S square plus L upon R, not L upon R, R upon L, not L upon R, it is R upon L. So R upon L, S plus 1 upon LC is equals to 0. So simplify S is equal to minus R upon L plus minus under the root B square means R upon L whole square minus 4AC. A is 1, C is equal to LC, 1 upon LC upon 2A. So upon 2 here, upon 2 means 4 get cancel out, so it becomes 1. So this is, and it is underdamped, it means this gives a negative sign. It is underdamped means it gives the negative sign. So when it gives the negative sign, the Xi comes outside and this, the minus sign will take the common factor. So this becomes like, this is converted into, or it is written down like 1 upon LC minus R upon 2L whole square. This is it. This further can be write down minus Xi omega R plus minus J Xi R. This can be write down, this can be easily write down xi omega r. They are not easy, the simple way, xi, not xi omega, it is the xi and j omega r. Xi plus minus j omega r. Xi known as damping factor and omega r is known as ringing frequency. So now this circuit can be simplified in this way. This circuit can be simplified. I is equals to something A, nothing. It will simplify it finally. So it is equals to Vs plus Voc divided by omega r into L e raised to power minus xi into t sine of omega r into t. This is the final solution, and that solution you can find out in a circuit analysis for the underdamped circuits. This is the final solution, and you can find out the solution, derivation of the solution, the total solution of the circuit. This equation finally, how we will find out? You will go in a circuit analysis, in a network theory for the underdamped RLC circuits. So this is the value of the final solution, xi and sine of omega t. So this kind of the final circuit arrangement, this kind of the current will be set up in the circuit, and it is underdamped circuit. So this is the final the mathematical solution of the circuit, and we'll find out what the damping factor and find out the ringing frequency from here. So now we'll try to find out what is the frequency and how the circuit works. The circuit works initially, the switch T2 is off. That the switch is off and this switch is on. What happens? This switch is on. This switch is on. So there is a flow of current like this. So when the current is flow like this one, what kind of the waveform diagram we'll find out. What kind of the waveform is? We'll find out the waveform of output current, the voltage across the capacitor. We'll find out, the current. So the current is increased and finally it becomes 0. And this is the maximum value of the current. So this is the current in a load or a capacitor. This is current in a load or a current in a capacitor. So what the capacitor's voltage? So the capacitor's voltage initially it was minus VOC, initial voltage. So in half of that in the whole duration, half of that, this becomes 0. This capacitor voltage becomes 0. And now due to this amount of the current, the direction of the current, it gets finally charging. Finally it gets charges. And it gets charges like this one. Charges. Okay, it gets charge. Okay. Then it gets further charge. As the current the current is getting down, this inductor produces the voltage. As the current is getting down, this inductor produces the voltage. And due to that inductive production of the voltage across the capacitor increases. So further it is increases and it becomes twice of the source voltage. Okay. So this is the source voltage, and this voltage was the initially whatever the voltage. So the total voltage becomes source voltage plus VOC. This is the total voltage. Okay. Now the current is 0 for some value, some time. For that some time it is 0. From here the current is 0. Because this is get disconnected, off. This is get off. So the current is 0. So what the voltage across the inductor? We will see the voltage across the inductor. We will see the voltage across the inductor. Then voltage across the inductor, VC, VL, not VC, the voltage across the inductor. So initially when the switch is get turned on, the current is flow, and due to the flow of the current, inductor oppose the flow. So inductor oppose. So the source and capacitor, initially the capacitor voltage is like this. So it is add in the source. So the source and both, not only the source and capacitor both provides the voltage across the inductor initially. Source and load both provides the voltage across the inductor initially. But when the capacitor voltage is 0, only the source voltage appears across the inductor. When the capacitor voltage is 0, the source voltage appears across the inductor. And when the capacitor gets the voltage is equal to its value, its voltage becomes 0. The inductor's voltage is 0. Okay. So this is the inductor's voltage variation. So now the capacitor further get voltage, then inductor get reverse voltage. Till this one. When the current is 0, inductor doesn't having the current, so the voltage across the inductor is 0 for this duration. Inductor is 0. Now the thyristor 2 get turned on. Now the thyristor 2 get turned on, and then flow of current take place like this. This is the direction of the current. So when the current in the reverse, this inductor initially oppose the flow of current. So it produces the voltage like this. It opposes the flow of current. And due to the opposition, the voltage reverse. And then slowly current increases, voltage decreases. Okay, slowly current increases, voltage decreases. And voltage across the capacitor remains same, approximately same. Finally, if the reverse direction current capacitor get discharged initially, the get discharged, then get discharged, and if the fully discharged, when it get fully discharged, finally it get charged. Finally it get charged is equal to the source voltage. Is equal to approximately the source voltage. This is the capacitor. And what happens across the inductor? The inductor. Now the capacitor and source, both the voltage appears across the inductor. So both the voltage means voltage is the higher one. Voltage is the higher one across the inductor. So this is the voltage across the inductor. Now the capacitor voltage. Now the thyristor 1 get on. Thyristor 1 get on, triggering. Here the thyristor 1 get triggering. T1. Here the thyristor T2. T2 get triggering. Now here thyristor get triggering. The same waveform get refit. Like this. And same this is the voltage. Same this is the voltage is going to decrease. But here in between these two, there is a current 0. Here the in between here the current is. Here the current is like this, and here in between current is 0. So wherever the current is 0, the capacitor voltage becomes constant, but the inductor current is 0. Inductor's voltage is 0, and after that, if the thyristor 1 gets started, thyristor 1 get turned on. When the thyristor 1 get turned on, gate signal IZ gate signal is provided So due to the gate signal is to be provided to gate 1, the initially this is this kind of the waveform. So this is the output voltage waveform of a circuit have, and this is the total repetition of the waveform after the initial one. This kind of the waveform will be set up. Here the current is not positive one, here not the current positive one, because this is not the chopper one, this is the inverter one, here the current is negative one. Then the current is positive one, and here the current is negative one. So in the load one direction, other direction. So this is the load current. Okay. So this is the way you can easily understand. The one thing you have to take care, and one thing that you should remember. Remember that the series circuit means series inverter circuit is underdamped circuit. One thing. Second circuit is the capacitor initial voltage should be reverse in direction, and finally it is in the turning on and off process. In every process it get reverse the voltage. So before starting the next one, its voltage should be reverse. Okay, and the operating frequency should not higher than the ringing frequency, and that ringing frequency we will find out from here. So this gives the ringing frequency. This is the limitation of the circuit arrangement. Third, the disadvantage of the circuit is here, from the source side, in the half of the cycle there is a current or a power flow from the source to the load. In the remaining half, the energy storing element, these are the commutating element, they flow the power. So the power in both the cycles are not remain same. So both the cycles are not the symmetrical one. So it produces the harmonics in the output. Second thing, if we want try to maintain both the power cycles or the same in both the cycles, we required heavy inductor or capacitor higher the energy storing element. So they store the energy, the amount equals to the energy required in the other one half of the cycle. In the first half they gains the energy from the source side. So in the first cycle, the two power flow, twice of the power flow, one the power that the load use, and second the store power. And in the second half of the cycle, that storage power is loses or supplied to the load. So the power stroke, one in the power stroke, twice of the power flow from the source side. So it produces the source harmonic also, input harmonics also. So it's not good one, but even though it can be used for the high frequency low power applications, but it not produce the symmetrical one, it produce the harmonics one. It required heavy commutating elements, because the load current is flowing through the commutating element. So commutating element are in series with the load. So load current is flowing through the commutating element. That means very heavy commutating elements are required. Otherwise, in normal cases, commutating circuit is different circuit. So the load current is directly flow, and commutating element do their own work to commutate the device. For the instant of time they follow the current, not the continuously they in a path of the current, load current. That's why this is not the good one. So to alter in this one, there is some alterations are required, some modifications are required in this kind of the circuit. So with series circuit with some modification. So in the series inverter with some of the modification, series inverter with some good modification, a good series inverter that only the one power cycle or two elements, like this one is the inductor, other is this is the switch, this is the element, the energy storing element, this is the energy storing element, and here from this one there is a load resistance, and to give this the supply there is a capacitor which is connected in between these two. So it gives the commutation, and here the source. not the AC, it is the DC, because we are studying the inverters. So here this one. So the one only the switch, and other is connected over here. Other switch is connected over here. So this is the two-way to flow the power. Two-way to flow the power. So one the dot over here, other is the dot over here, and this is the parallel. One parallel means the core material. They are used over here. So what happens? One, the switch is on. This is the flow of power like this. This is the flow of power like this. When this switch is off, the flow of power is from this. Flow of power is like this. So then the flow of power is like this. Okay. So in this one, the capacitor doesn't require to store the power. Only the inductor, and there is the exchange of the energy from here to here by the inductance working principle in a transformer. It is also not good, not the symmetrical one. So give the symmetrical, we require the half bridge type series inverter. Half bridge series inverter. Half bridge series inverter. And that half bridge series inverter is, this is the source, not the DC, the DC one. The source and the two inductor and the two capacitors. This is the switch. This is the inductor, and this is the second inductor, and this is the further switch, and then the two capacitors. And in between the capacitor and inductor there is a load. Okay. So this is very good one. It is symmetrical one. And it doesn't require the storage of the power. It is flow of the power in both the cycles. So what happens when the switch is on? This is a flow of power like this one through the load and capacitor. And in the remaining half of the cycle, this is the power. It is coming from this one and opposite direction, and the flow like this one. So this is a very good one. Good arrangement, best arrangement, better the performance. So this is a very good solution of a series inverter, that is on a half bridge type inverter circuit. It gives a very good, it's on a modified type series inverter. You can definitely study well. We are not study this in detail over here, because we doesn't having too much of the time to study this one, because we also have to cover the parallel inverter in the same of the lecture. In the same lecture, we will try to cover the parallel inverters, and in the UG studies, these inverters are not so much, they are not asked too much in the detail. Even though in a competitive examination, they will be asked. The basic working principle will be asked. The waveform will be asked. The tuning frequency, the fringing frequency will be asked. And the underdamped, overdamped, what kind of the arrangement they have, and what are the damping factor they have. So this kind of the question generally asked in a competitive examination. Now we are studying the parallel inverter. So in a parallel inverter, there is a source, not the AC, it is DC one. A source, and to maintain the current there is an inductor, and to flow the power in parallel there is a capacitor. To flow the power in a parallel there is a capacitor and two inductors, and one is the capacitor. Two inductor and one is the capacitor. Two inductor and one is a capacitor. So, and there is a central tapping. two inductor and they are central tapping. Okay. This is the transformer and this is the load. Where the switches are connect. Where the switches are connect. The switches are connect or here and here. Switches are connect or here. This is one of the switch and this is the another one of the switch. So this is one. So it is known as parallel inverter. How it is known as parallel one? Because when it gives the supply, when the thyristor 1 is on, it carries the current like this one and it flows through the load one and gives like this to the circuit. The same time there is a current in a capacitor. Same time there is a current in a capacitor and that charge the capacitor and flow like this one. Okay. Flow like this one. This is the polarity of the load transfer. Okay. This is the polarity like this one. Okay. So two parallel paths. One is the load side, another is the commutating current, other is the load component of the current. Yeah or no? Definitely. This increase the voltage of a capacitor and that becomes twice of the source voltage. That is charge the capacitor with the twice of the source voltage. That is a charge because it is not connected, this is the source voltage. The source is connected or here only. But this capacitor is connected or here and here both. So the capacitor voltage twice of the source voltage. Okay. Definitely when this switch is off, what happens? This capacitor gives the current and capacitor discharge and this is the flow of the current like this. This is the flow of the current like this. This is the flow of like this. And during this flow, it get discharged. It get totally discharged. So in the off cycle. Now the thyristor, this thyristor get turned on. T2 get turned on. Then when it get turned on, this is the flow of current like this. At the same time, this capacitor getting charges like this. There is no any current like this. Capacitor getting charges like this and flow of current like this. So in both power cycles, capacitor getting charges. In both off cycles, when this get off, this capacitor try to give the current like this. So in negative cycle it produced like this. So I'll draw the waveform diagram. So when the switch 1 is on, initially capacitor having the voltage like this one. One switch is on, initially having the capacitor voltage like this one. And that capacitor voltage get changed and changing to this one. Okay. And that remains this constant for the whole operation of the cycle, the positive stroke. Okay. Not carry the current. It takes the current for the smaller duration. This is the capacitor voltage. One thyristor T1 off. Here the T1 off. So the capacitor get changed the voltage. It change the voltage. T2 on. It change the voltage and then remains the voltage like this. and then T1 it change the voltage. So this is the capacitor's voltage. We will draw the output voltage. So the output voltage is for the positive half of the cycle, this is the output voltage like this. For the negative half of the cycle, this is the output voltage like this. For the negative half of the cycle, output voltage like this. So this is the output voltage. Okay. So it is a very good one. The very well waveform. So this is the way we can flow, and this is known as parallel inverter, because when the load taking the current, you know what happens, you will see from here, when the load taking current from the thyristor 1, load taking the current, this capacitor, that is the commutating capacitor, also taking the current. So the commutating capacitor works parallelly to the load. That's why it is known as parallel commutation, or it is known as parallel inverter. You know, the series and parallel inverters names indicate the commutating elements behave, they work in a series with the circuit or the load, so it is known as series inverters, and when they work or behave in parallel, they work as a parallel one. In a parallel, there is no any heavy inductor is required, there is no any inductive storage power is required. In parallel, both the power strokes, not a single power stroke. In a series one, only the one the power stroke, so both the waveforms are not the symmetrical one. Here both the waveforms are the symmetrical one. It is more sinusoidal, more accurate, less harmonic, very better, powerful, less costly as compared to the series one. So this is good one for the high power, high applications, low frequency applications, and the series one is the simple one, the lower one for the high power, high frequency application, low power, high frequency, for decoration type lighting and all these circuits, wherever the power requirement milli and microwatts, but high frequency switchings are required, then the series type inverters are used. Okay, thank you, thanks a lot.